see we are a quorum and the house is getting fuller. Thank you very much for making the time. Before we start officially, please, folks, allow me to give you a moment of silence so that we can reflect. The moment starts now. Thank you very much. Once again, colleagues, welcome to this meeting. Minister, to you and your team and the HOD and the other professionals. Also to you too, thank you very much for attending this crucial meeting. I've also noted that we're full house. There are no apologies received, no apologies needed. The full political team is in the house. Just two more things before we get into the deliberations. Our virtual platform rules will apply. And members, I am aware that some of us, we serve on other committees as well. So I will be mindful of the time, and I'm going to ask you to also be mindful of the time so that we don't impede committees that still needs to follow after this. Members, we know the drill. For the record, we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm going to start off with the committee members, and then I will give over to the Minister, HOD, and their team. I think Monday would probably be ready with the recordings. Monday, are you up and running?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. All right, folks, my name is Memory Boyson, and I'm the chairperson for the Standing Committee of Health and Wellness. The other members may go ahead, and then we will make our continuous round.
My name is Thomas Walters. I'm a member of the committee.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Benedicta van Binnen. I'm a member of the committee.
Good morning, Chairperson. Wendy Kaiser-Philander, a member of the committee.
Good morning, Chairperson. Donita Stevens, and I'm a member of this committee.
Good morning, everyone. Chair, my name is Rachel van Vogel, and a member of this committee.
Member Michael, are you on? All right, colleagues, I can see Member Michael maybe is struggling with his mute and unmute. I will go ahead. He can introduce himself when he gets connected. Minister, I'm going to give over to you for introductions.
Good morning, Honourable Chair and Honourable members of the Standing Committee on Health and Wellness. My name is Mireille Wenger, and I'm the Provincial Minister of Health and Wellness.
Thank you, Minister. Good morning. The rest of the professionals can kick off. HOD.
Good morning, Chairperson and honourable members. I'm Keith Kluti. I'm the head of Department of Health and Wellness. I'll ask the officials to introduce themselves, starting with Ms. Desiree Mogani.
Good morning, members. Good morning, everyone. My name is Desiree Mogani. I'm the Director of Management Accounting in the Department of Health and Wellness.
Thanks, Desiree. Mr. Glenn Carrick.
Okay. Good morning, Chair and members. I'm Glenn Carrick. I'm the Chief Director of Finance.
Thank you. Dr. Laura Angeletti du Toit.
Good morning, Honourable Chair, and good morning, Honourable members. My name is Laura Angeletti du Toit, Chief Director of Facility and Infrastructure Management.
Thank you. Mr. Simon Kay.
Morning, Chair, members, Minister, HOD, and colleagues. Simon Kay, Deputy Director General, Corporate Support Services in the Western Cape Department of Health and Wellness. Good morning.
Thank you, Chairperson. That's all of us.
Thank you, HOD, and thank you, folks, for the introductions. Let me just state the purpose of the meeting. As we are all aware by now that the purpose of the meeting is for me as the chairperson to table the Adjustments Appropriation Bill B25 for 2025 for deliberations, and thereafter We as a committee would then make a decision in terms of whether we support this adjustment bill for vote 6, health and wellness, or not, and then we will proceed from there. As procedure dictates, Minister, I'm going to give over to you and to the HOD for your opening remarks. You may go ahead, Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. The Department of Health and Wellness sees an increase of 641.69 million rand in the adjustment budget, which brings us from 32 billion in the main appropriation to 32.6 billion in the adjustment appropriation. This additional appropriation is to mitigate in-year goods and services pressures and for system-wide IT investment for our digitization initiatives. We also have shifts that are detailed from page 103 to 110 in the Blue Book. And then further, Chair, just to bring to the committee's attention some of the in-year amendments to our APPs for 25-26. They were ATC'd in the legislature. It's in respect of 2 targets where the frequency of reporting has been amended in both instances to annual targets, and these come as a result of recommendations from the Provincial Data Office, both in respect of patient experience survey. So with that, as a broad overview, we're happy to take questions from the honourable members.
Thank you, Minister. Anything else from your HOD?
Maybe just to add, sir, that the 641 million that's added for us represents a further stabilization of the budget pressures we've experienced over the last 2 or 3 years. And it starts us on a journey that takes us forward for the next MTEF. But for today, we're happy with the comments from the Minister to answer any questions from the member side. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, HOD. Colleagues, I'm having a suggestion because, as I was saying earlier on, for time constraints, we're dealing with 24 pages. Can I recommend that we deal from pages 101 up until pages 112 for the first round? And then for the second round of engagements, we can then from 113 until 125. The rest of the other pages are just annexures. So members, I'm opening up the floor for any engagements, starting on 101 page. Thank you, members. And please, members, when we do engage, whether it's comments or questions, if we could refer to the pages, please. So just to make reference easier for everybody else to follow. I'm looking for hands. Also, members, there's nothing wrong in stating that you're happy, you understand as you have gone through it. I see member Ben Forham.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, am I audible, Chair?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Yes, once again, good morning to the Minister and HOD and the team. And Chair, my first question is on page 101. Under the adjusted appropriation, I think the HOD in his opening remarks mentioned about the increase on the increase. So my starting point will be that we note and we really welcome the increased budget for over 641 million, including the allocation of more than 573 million from the national government to address urgent pressures within the department. However, my main concern with the province budgeting system relates to the issue of accruals, where significant portions of the current budget are used to settle commitments from previous financial years. I would therefore like to understand the following. How much of the current adjustment budget will be used to pay off commitments from previous years, and how much of the budget will actually go towards the programs and service delivery priorities of the current financial year? And to what extent does the challenge of accruals affect the department's ability to plan, implement and deliver on its mandate? Your answer will help me to understand the real impact of the additional funding and whether it strengthens delivery in the current year. Then, Chair, on page 102, table 6.1, compensation of employees. For me, it's very serious. It's a serious concern that over 52 million originally earmarked for compensation of employees has been shifted to fund goods and services, nursing agency staff. This is particularly worrying because staff shortages across our public healthcare facilities are already having a severe impact on the quality of healthcare service, the healthcare service provided. I would like to ask how many vacancies in the department remain unfilled? Are there any posts that have been frozen? And if so, how many and in which areas? Then I'm not sure up until where I'm going to ask in my last question on page 104, sub-program 1.2. Reprioritization of funds in claims against the state. We note the reprioritization of 69 million from the budget for claims against the state. I would like to understand if the minister or the HDU can the reason for the shift. Does this mean that the department initially over budgeted for the medical legal claims, or did you experience fewer claim related challenges that's then anticipated? And additionally, how many medical legal claims have been recorded so far in this financial year? I will park there for now, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Van Vogel. And Member Van Vogel, just note at times you were gone for split seconds, but I did get the gist of your questions. Just see if your reception is stable where you are. Member Stevens.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, Member Van Vogel did cover some of it, but I couldn't hear properly what some of the question. On page 101, on the adjusted estimates of provincial expenditure, can the department explain the key drivers behind the adjustment and indicate how this adjustment will impact service delivery in critical areas such as staffing, infrastructure maintenance, and essential medical supplies? And on page 103, the department lists the rollover. Can the department provide full details of this rollover, including the original purpose of the funds, the reasons why they were not spent in the previous financial year, and how these rollover funds will now be allocated to ensure improved efficiency in service delivery? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Stevens. I think, colleagues, that's a mouthful, including Member Van Vogel's questions as well. So I'm going to open up for the responses of this round. Minister, over to you and your team.
Thanks very much, Chair, and to the honourable members for the questions. If I got it all, it's around accruals, COE, number of vacancies, frozen posts, and on this we've got some much better news for the committee. And then there's a question on households and medico-legal. We also got some good news on that. And then the key drivers for the rollover in respect of the violence prevention unit and the health facility management on the solar. HOD, I see you put your camera on. You want to take the first go at it?
Happy to wait for you, Minister, and then add.
Okay. Do you want to take the question on accruals, or should I ask Mr. K to do that?
No, I'll do that quickly, Minister, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So, Minister, Member Van Vogel, the increase of 641. In this province, we've done quite a bit of work over the many years that accruals, not like in other provinces, accruals is not that big an issue in our specific setting. and that the bulk of this is not actually to cover accruals. And I'll ask Mr. K just to explain exactly what the actual accruals is that came into this year, which was significantly lower than last year. Mr. K, just add a comment on the accruals before we proceed.
Yeah, thanks. So the total accruals and payables, I think, was around about 392 million rand, which was about 11 point something days. And we're permitted to go up to 30 days in terms of the legislation. So we're not carrying accruals from the last year at this point in time.
Yeah. So just explain that, Member Van Vogel, basically it's 11 days, and therefore what you get towards the end of the year, we are able to go to the end of the year and not carry more than 12 months, more than 30 days expenditure into the next year. Actually carrying more than 30 days is, you kind of take that, we've only carried 10 days expenditure into this year. So that means when you get to the end of this year, we get to the last 10 days of the financial year and pay that money in the next year, which is as good as you possibly can get in terms of accruals. Minister, that's the first question. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much. Then on compensation of employees. So on this, we hang on, let me just find my notes here. We in respect of posts, we have actually opened up additional posts in the current financial year, and we've added up to the end of October 185 clinical posts, which I think is very good news. However, given the the lateness of the budget and the time in which the allocations might come through, we wanted to make sure that we were making prudent fiscal decisions without recurring expenditure in respect of COE. So that was then the strategy. I don't know, HOD, if you want to add on there.
Yes, so Member Van Vogel, the post numbers are increasing. The number of posts we've opened has increased. We have filled more than 300 posts so far already in this year. We continue to project to fill as many posts as well. But the amount that you're talking about, which is 52 million, 52 million assumes that we have able to cover the salaries of everyone from the date that the money is available. So because the 300 posts has been added, they've not all been added in the first month. They have been added systematically over months. You therefore run because the salary, the COE that we have presupposes a full salary for all the months. So what you have is you have the post being filled and it is going up, but you cumulatively every month have a slightly lower and lower and lower and lower saving because the post was not filled in that month. That cumulative saving over these posts is the 52 million that we then put into goods and services because we don't want to register under expenditure against the posts in that regard. So that is the explanation for that. So increasing posts, no frozen, more posts being filled. It is just the drag or the lag between filling a post and that post. If the post is filled for 8 months, therefore there's 4 months saving on that specific post. If it's filled for 7 months, there's 5 months saving on that specific post. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Minister. Can I go to claims of the state?
Yes. So then it's households on the medico-legal. You could share the good news there as well. And if we can, I don't know if we have the information available of how many claims this year, but it certainly can be provided.
Yeah, it can be provided. So, Minister, again, as the Minister said, and just for Member Van Vogel and Chairperson, just to what happens. We have a very tight system to manage medical legal claims. And the process is the claims come in, we process the claims. Some of the claims we've already described previously to the committee. When there's merit, we negotiate, we find a settlement and we pay. Some of it we take to court and we process. Now, the claims does not follow the financial year, the financial year limits. The claims is an ongoing process. What we do is we put an amount against that item, knowing that in certain years our claims will be higher and in other years the claims will be lower. It's it's not an exact thing because many claims gets processed now, but it gets processed in April, May, and then it comes up for payment because it's negotiations, it's processes with lawyers and all of those. So for this year, that claims that we have to settle is the claims that was processed during the 12 months. And because that amount of money, therefore, is then utilized against IT and others, for next year, we will then be processing. But the good news, as the Minister said, is that trend is not on the steep inward climb. There is very clearly controlled, and there's a rhythm to which we actually manage that. The number of claims itself, we can put that through to the committee because we have an updated database at any given time to tell us how many claims are there. So, Mr. K, you can just maybe share on the claims.
Thank you, HOD. So 20.188 million up to the end of November has been spent, and that is over 20 patients.
Yeah.
So it's around an average of a million a case.
Yeah.
Which is.
But the question was how many other claims. So that's the claims we've
So we've got 608. We've still got a provision of 668 million of potential future claims.
Yeah, but I mean we can send the detail of the claims that is in progress, which we are then saying that will come out. But we have paid 20 claims and 20 million so far. Thank you very much, Minister.
Okay, and then if we can just go through the rollovers in respect of VPU and the solar.
Yep. Okay.
And the impact on service delivery of the adjustments.
Yeah. So for Member Stevens, the question is a very good question, Member Stevens. What is the adjustment therefore and the impact on these? You will find out, and we will see in the later tables, most of that money is actually for goods and services, and most of the money is actually for essential supplies, medical and surgical supplies. So that's what most of the money is for. And it really is helping us to pay for the things that we need, which is the essential supplies to do the services we got. But also you picked up that many of the money is also for computer refresh and for IT so that we can keep our IT system up and going. But that's the bulk of what the money is for. The rollovers specifically for the two, the one is for the violence prevention unit, and the rollover specifically into this financial year, from this financial into next financial year is, the rollover come into the year, was that we were planning last year into this year to have a Planet Youth survey. That Planet Youth survey happened in this financial year. So what we did in last year is we rolled over money from the violence prevention unit specifically to assist us with the Planet Youth survey for this year. And therefore, the money that comes into our system now was to help us to actually get the money that we need for the Planet Youth survey, which was successfully conducted into this year. And at the same time, we're looking at interventions which will start in the next financial year. So that money is very much part of our strategy, which was preparing for the survey. Survey was done this year, it was shared, and now we're preparing for interventions into the next year. And then the last one is the solar panels. Again, we have got money for solar panels to bring the solar panels into hospitals. Again, it was about our planning, our delivery, and all of those. And we rolled some money over for the program of doing the panels in a systematic way across our hospitals. Thank you, Chairperson. Those are the questions. Yeah.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you, HOD. Colleagues, I'm opening up for the second round and or follow-ups. Thank you. We still between pages 101 and 112. Member Benfogo.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You may go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chair. Chair, on my follow-up, when it comes to page 102, the Minister and the HOD explain the situation with the 52 million. But my question in terms of how many vacancies in the department remain unfilled, I was not answered. The reason why I'm asking that, we know the problem at our health facility, especially when it comes to clinics, long queues in sun and rain. People enter those facilities at 6 in the morning, and sometimes they are not even assisted because there's a shortage of staff. So I really want to understand, and I also welcome the fact that the 105 clinical posts. So I really want to understand in terms of how many vacancies in the department remain unfilled. Then secondly, Chair, on page 105, STAR program 2.9, the district hospital, referring to KLH Hospital. We know that 3.1 million has been spent on nursing agency staff. And I would like clarity on the following. How many staff members were employed through this 3.1 million? And what is the duration for their contracts? And what are their areas of specialty? Are these agency nursing filling funded vacancies at the hospital? If so, why are these posts not being filled permanently? And then in addition, Chair, can the department also provide the department's total expenditure on agency personnel? A comparison between the cost of employing agency staff versus filing these vacancies permanently, because this agency staff, really the amount of money that we spent on them, it's for me a huge concern. Then on page 106, Chair, sub program 2.5, we know that 18 million has been shifted to address the carry-through deficit from the 2024-2025 financial year. This deficit was caused by year-on-year above inflation increase in the stipends of community health workers. Over the past few years. So I would like to understand that, Chair.
So sorry, Member Van Vool, can you just repeat the last part? You did break up again. You muted.
Yeah.
Please unmute.
Yes. Okay. Am I clear, Chair?
You are now clear. Just finish off
Must
the
I
last
repeat this?
question. Yeah, last part.
The deficit was caused by year-on-year above inflation increase in the stipend of community health workers over the past few years. I would like to ask, have any other programs been affected by this carry-through deficit? If so, which ones and to what extent? And what is the department's long-term plan to employ community health workers? I know there's type of negotiations at the national level. Yeah, so if I can get an answer on that, Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Van Voel. Minister Eshobi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm going to ask the department to help with a question on the agency, the 3.1 million. How many agency staff did that employ? I don't have that information available, as well as the cost differentials.
So thank you very
and then
much,
also
Minister.
the vacancy question.
Yeah, thanks very much, Minister. So just on the vacancy, I'm going to give Mr. K just to explain to Member Van Voel, Chairperson, our process. So when we say we fill 300 posts, we have advertised many more posts. And in any given time, posts are in the process of being filled. So he's going to give you just a line of sight of how many posts are in the process of being filled, as opposed to how many posts has been filled. So out of that, you can have an understanding that every post that is on our approved post list that is vacant gets advertised because we have money for that post and it is in the process of being filled. While those posts are being filled, new resignations comes in or people leave the service due to retirement. So that's our continual process between those. And Mr. K will explain the vacancies as articulated with posts in process, but people leaving the service at an ongoing basis because it's a dynamic thing. It's not a static thing. The second thing is, in terms of the agency, Now, the filling of posts does affect the number of agencies. So even Khayelitsha Hospital, they are advertising 25 different or 16 different nursing posts to be filled. It is affected by that because while you're in the process of filling the post, you do not have the staff complement to cover all your shifts in that process. Remember, Windvogel asked an important question, whether that trend is going down, whether the trend is going up, and it's really about the trend of our use for agency while we are filling posts. Our intention is to fill the posts that we have, that is required. There are two difficulties in that. Sometimes it is a post where there are very few people for which there is skills around. Other times it is just the volume of the post that we're competing with other places as well. But he will explain both of that and how that plays out into the agency. The agency, specifically from our side, it is while you are filling a post that you need a hot body to actually do the service. Otherwise, you don't have the complement. And there's also people being on maternity leave. There's also people being on sick leave. Those are all the things that influences why we will never get rid of agency staff, because all of those pieces are come together in all of this. And then there's the last one on community health deficit. The comment refers to us catching up in terms of the salary differential so that community health workers get the agreed increment over this period of time. So we have kept up with that and we've adjusted that so that community health workers get one remuneration across all the entities. As far as the future of what we do in our plan is for community health workers, there's a process with the national department which affects the other 8 provinces in terms of community health workers being employed as permanent employees in the public service because they were connected to Purcell in the other provinces. That court ruling does not apply to us because in our setting, community health workers have been employed by NPOs. What we are doing in consultation with our national colleagues, though, is to understand the job evaluation, the process of employing community health workers. We're taking all of that into consideration and having a conversation with our NPOs to see what is the best decision for us to take for stability for community health workers going forward. So it's in the process of us consulting about a definitive policy position. Mr. Kay?
Thanks, HOD. So all told, in November, we had 2,098 posts in various stages of recruitment and selection. That was slightly up from November, where we had 1,941, but it has come down. Earlier in the year, we were kind of in the 2,300s, 2,400s, and that has translated, as Minister indicated in her opening remarks or in the question, to an increase in number of people that we have. But the reality is that when somebody leaves today, they resigned at the end of November, you have to advertise the post in the DPSA circular. So it takes probably 2 weeks to get to that circular. That circular is open for a week. People then must apply for it. It closes after about 21 days. It then takes, we're getting so many applications at the moment that it's generally taking two to 3 weeks to shift through. So the reality is that you have a lag of between 2.5 and 3 months when somebody resigns and then when you are able to replace that person, let alone for that person to be able to actually get up to speed of what is required within the job. And so over that period of time, that's when the agency comes in. We put the patient first and the continuity of care first, and that's our primary concern. However, we do monitor in the background what agency is being spent, and we don't necessarily monitor it in terms of the mix. We monitor it in terms of the percentage of the total budget and how it is moving, and there's no, it's not a homogeneous experience. Things happen in different parts of the system for different reasons and at different rhythms. So we do watch it, but it must be monitored and managed at an institutional level as part of the financial governance responsibilities of institutional managers who must balance their whole budget, not just certain components of it. And so that's how we manage. There is also a system, the Nurse Information Management System, NIM system, which is where bookings take place, and it's supported by term contracts, so rate-based term contracts, and we have a number of different agencies that are able to provide us services based on those particular contracts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for those responses. Members, I am now going to Member Benfogo. You may go.
Thank you, Chair. That's going to be my last two questions because I know you are going to move to the second round of the next pages as explained in terms of the process. So on this one, the last two questions, I'm not really answered by the previous speaker in terms of how many. I just wanted the total, saying I do understand the explanation, but I'm not there where I really can say we have so many unfilled vacancies. But nevertheless, Chair, my second last question of the first question of my two questions will be on page 107. The sub-program 4.1, that's to fund the procurement of essential medical equipment at George Hospital. We know that millions of rand have been sifted to make provision for medical equipment, and this is really welcomed. However, we must raise a serious concern about practice of lending public medical equipment to private hospitals in their own benefit, for their own benefits. Previously, we asked the MEC to indicate which legislation permits this, and we were referred to Section 27, but we still need clarity as to which specific clause allows the department to lease or lend medical equipment to private hospitals at no cost. These machines are extremely expensive, and it is difficult to justify giving them to private hospitals for free. I would therefore like to know, do written contracts or agreements exist with such arrangements, particularly when they can be damaged? If so, what safeguards are in place to ensure accountability, cost recovery, and the protection of public assets? Then on page 111, sifting of funds between votes, Program 8. While we know that the 7 million sifted to vote 10 for the replacements of the EMS head office, my concern relates to what is highlighted on page 36 of the overview of adjustment provincial and municipal infrastructure investment. Under table 3.1, Western Cape, adjustment provincial infrastructure estimated by district, it shows that the health and wellness budget for the city of Cape Town and the Garden Route district municipality has been decreased. I would like to understand what is the justification for this reduction in the budget, and how will this decrease affected service delivery and the provision of quality healthcare in these districts? Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Member Van Vogel. Before I give to the Minister and to the HOD, I just need to give some guidance. I do understand that we as members, we do have the right to ask, but what I just want to mention on what I'm aware of on one of the questions that Member Van Vogel have asked, and that is regarding the landing of equipment to other hospitals. I do remember seeing a written response on that, and then in our next meeting then as well, Member Van Vogel and the rest of the committee members, we would then engage with those responses. But HOD, just to let you know, and the Minister, that we did receive some of the responses back on the last questions asked as the committee. So for the exercise of this purpose, I want to assure the members that we will deal with those responses in our next meeting, but we do have it somewhere in our inboxes. Thank you. Over to you, HOD. I see you've got your camera on.
Thanks.
Oh,
Could I
Minister,
just,
sorry. Yeah,
if I
Minister.
could, just to clarify on page 107, the R1 million that's being shifted to machinery and equipment is for the procurement of medical equipment for the George Hospital. It's not for private establishments. It's for the public George Hospital. So just to clarify that. Thanks, HOD.
Yeah, thank you, Minister. So, Chairperson, I was going to indicate to Member Windvogel that that question was posed and a written response has been sent to you guys, and this was discussed at the last meeting. I think the issue is we explained it. We are indicating that we're in the process of writing a standard operating procedure to guide this practice to make sure that there's no loss for the state or any patient is disadvantaged with the practice. Just in case of program 8 and the EMS indicator there, but the broader indication of reduction of infrastructure resources for the city of Cape Town and for Gardenwood. I'm just going to ask Dr. Angeleti du Toit just to reflect on that. Dr. Angeleti du Toit.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, HOD. Okay, so the table that Member Windvogel referred to is on page 36, and the decrease is, as she mentioned rightly, on the City of Cape Town and in the Garden route. Of course, the infrastructure program is depending on the progress of project. So the cash flow is always adapted in order to see which project are proceeding and which project they have some delays. So, for example, we had some additional funding to be provided in the West Coast. If you see, we had additional 48 million rand because we had a few projects in construction in that area, like the Diatsville Clinic. And so it's a balancing that we try to achieve in supporting the program. So it's not that we are removing funding, but we are just adapting funding according to the progress of project. You are aware that specifically in the city, we had projects that are almost completed, but they haven't not reached completion yet. But they are on the progress to be completed. So it's just an adjustment to the requirement for the infrastructure program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Angeleti du Toit. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, members. I'm now closing pages 101 to pages 112. I'm opening up for questions or comments from pages 113 up until pages 125. The pages are open. It's going once, going twice. So breathing. I think everything is set out pretty straightforward. And as a Xhosa speaking person, I am aware that there's a saying in English which says, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So members, I'm just double checking that you do not have technical problems because I want to close it off and I don't want to do my own thing, not knowing that you guys are still struggling with your hands. But that as it may, colleagues, I get the sense that it is pretty straightforward from pages 113 to 125. And in this instance, Nomonde, are you aware of any members of the public that's on the platform?
No, sir, we don't have any members of the public in this section.
All right, in the absence of that, Minister and HOD, I'm going to afford you the opportunity for your closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair, and to the honourable members for the questions. We enjoyed the engagement And I look forward to engaging further in the budget debate next week. Thank you. And thanks to the team on the line.
Thank you, HOD.
Just thank you very much, Chairperson and committee members. As always, we humbly stand in front of you for accountability. We really have an appreciation for the insightful questions and for keeping us accountable. And we continue to appreciate serving that with humility. I just want to point out, Chairperson, which is important to note, is that this adjustment estimate, as I said at the beginning, is about stabilization. It does cover the essential pressures that's in our system. It puts us in a position to prepare for the next MTEF period. And I really want to commend the group of people on this call from the department. We've navigated through 3 or 4 years of very, very difficult financial parameters. To the multiple people in our organization, to the managers, to the staff on the front line, that has really taken the brunt of this. I really put my humble appreciation to all of them. And navigating us to this position, that now we can start navigating into the next cycle, puts us in a good state. So we're looking forward to also, as we said previously, Chairperson, to engage the committee about the next cycle of what we're trying to enter into. And we continue to appreciate the relationship that takes us in that direction. Thank you very much, Chairperson, and to committee members.
Thank you, HOD. And from my side, I just want to say, Minister, to you and the HOD and the rest of the team, as a standing committee for health and wellness, we see your hard work. We see you working under pressure, and we really appreciate the overtime that you folks are putting in. And I must also say that we are very, very grateful for the additional funding which you've received. And I know that it will just take us to higher heights. Thank you very much. And you may recuse yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank
And
you.
thanks to the committee.
Thank you.
Members, once again, thank you very much for your constructive engagements. And as we're all aware, I do know that time is limited, but we will have a second bite next week when we deal with the debate on vote 6. I am now going to continue in terms of what's required in terms of Rule 118. I must now give you folks an opportunity as members to indicate whether you support the adjustment budget, adjustment appropriation bill for vote 6, B52/2025. Can I have an indication on whether we support the adjustment appropriations or not? I see the hand of Member Walters.
Chair, I'm happy with the explanations given. I propose that we support the vote.
All right, colleague, Member Walters is proposing that we support vote 6, the adjustment appropriations for vote 6. Member Van Vogel? Member Van Vogel, you are muted.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Chair, the ANC wish to note the decrease in this adjustment budget for vote 6, but it is on that basis, Chairperson, that the minority view of the ANC not to support the budget in line with Rule 19 must be noted. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Van Vogel, and you want that to be officially noted as per Rule 19?
Yes, 100%.
All right, thank you. You may no longer include that. All right, I can see that you are opposite no longer. I am then going to read it out for the record.
Chairperson.
Yes, you may go ahead. Member Philander.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, as much as we expected the minority view, Chairperson, I wish to second the proposal made by Member Walters. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, thank you for bringing me in line there. Thank you. It is noted. Proposed by Member Walters and seconded by Member Kaiser Philander. Thank you very much for that. And a minority view raised by Member Van Vogel. I'm just going to read it into record. The Standing Committee on Health and Wellness, having considered the subject of Vote 6, Health and Wellness, in the schedule to the Western Cape Appropriation Bill, B5/2025, referred to in accordance with the standing rules of 188, reports that the committee supports the vote. And in terms of Standing Rule 90, the African National Congress expressed its minority view not to support the vote. It is noted, and I would then electronically sign it off. Are there any other business of the day, Namonde, that we need to deal with as a committee?
Just checking with the members if there are any resolution.
Members, any other things for considerations? Member Walters?
Chair, just to be clear, perhaps I confused myself here, but I think the committee report also needs to be in itself, needs to be put in the committee. So I'd just like to propose adoption then of the committee report.
Thank you, Member Walters. One cannot buy experience. That is out of the mouth of an experienced public rep. Committee, as I've tabled this report in the beginning, Member Walters have now just reminded me that I was supposed to ask you whether we adopt the committee report, and Member Walters have already indicated. Can I then have a seconder for Member Walters in the adoption of this report? I see Member Kaiser Philander, your hand is raised for seconding the adoption of this report. Thank you very much in that regard. Do we have any resolutions that would like to be noted after the adoption?
Chair?
Yes, Member Van Vogel.
I'm not sure if you are, perhaps I must just put my resolution straight to you, is that in terms, I really do want to understand how many unfilled, how many posts are still unfilled.
Okay.
If we can get that info.
All right, member, we've got that. We will put that down as a written request from the standing committee to the department so that they can give us the actual figures in their written response. Thank you, Member Van Vogel. We will regard that as a resolution taken by the standing committee. And then,
thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Then I think we are done for the business of the day. There are no minutes that's outstanding no more. Will we deal with that in the next committee engagement? Right. No, Monday, you muted. Monday, you were muted, sorry.
We don't have minutes, Chair. We'll adopt the document in the next committee meeting.
All right, thank you very much. Colleagues, thank you very much for the engagement. Namonde, you and Siraj, to you too as well. Thank you very much for giving us the necessary support. Ladies and gentlemen, members, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Bye.
Thank you.